Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we will learn all about the third annual South Shore Conference for Women. It's coming up later this month here in Quincy, and the chairwoman, Kathy Brigette, is here to tell us all about it. First, though, as always, we do check out the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's really nice. Sunshine, 66 degrees. It'll top off in the upper 60s today with abundant sunshine. Tonight's partly cloudy, lows drop off into the upper 50s. Not a bad Columbus Day weekend coming up. Tomorrow is okay, just clouds, a little cooler certainly, with the high only in the low 60s. A slight chance for a shower here on Sunday, rather cool with highs in the mid 60s. Better on Marathon Monday. Just a chance of a shower, a little milder with highs Monday in the lower 70s. Looks like we're back up into the mid and upper 70s, maybe 80 degrees by later next week. But again, right now, sunshine and 66 degrees here in Quincy. In the news today, two people have facing charges that they carjacked a man at gunpoint outside of a Quincy school earlier this week, forcing that school into lockdown. Now, police say 26-year-old Jordan Abelard and 28-year-old Pedruna Green pulled a gun on a driver outside of the Point Webster Middle School Monday morning and forced that driver to take them to a nearby TD Bank ATM and take out $700 in cash. The incident prompted a shelter-in-place order at the school because both suspects then went into their apartment on nearby Low Street, where police negotiators and a SWAT team were called in. Both were arrested without incident. Police say they did recover this ghost gun. It's a homemade gun along with a homemade gun frame that is used to mold that weapon. The suspects now face charges of armed robbery, armed carjacking, and kidnapping, but nobody was hurt. The Quincy City Council has approved of the new ward and precinct maps for next year. Councilors earlier this week praised City Clerk Nicole Crispo for her work in redrawing the city's voting wards and precincts using the updated data from the 2020 federal census. City Council President Nina Liang says that Crispo and her team took great care to ensure the entire city was treated fairly.
She's done a really good job at not only saying, this is where the numbers need to hit, and that would be great, right? She also, she knows the city. She knows the city inside and out. So she also is being respectful of the fact that it's okay. Well, if I cut a precinct down this street, physically it doesn't make sense, right? Like physically it doesn't make sense for these residents here to be counted in this precinct, because then when they go to vote, they had to cross over railroad tracks and go across the whole, section over here to get to that. It just doesn't make sense. And so she has taken so many things into consideration. And again, it's very, very impressive. It's helpful to know that we had somebody who knew the city inside and out, making and drawing these new lines.
Crispo says 16,500 residents are impacted by the changes. 4,500 of those are registered voters. The changes need approval from the mayor and the state and will take effect in 2022. The city clerk says everybody who is impacted by the changes will be notified before next year's state elections. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch hopes to one day create a rowing program here in the city. Koch has purchased 3 waterfront properties along the Southern Artery that were for sale because he says he wanted to prevent developers from buying the land and creating condos or apartments. The property consists of the Town River Marina, the Sportsman's Den, and Meineke Muffler. Koch used $5 million from the federal pandemic relief funds that are coming to the city to buy the property, saying he wanted to secure public access to those waterfront parcels, which he feels would surely have been purchased by a private developer. The mayor says he'd like the Quincy Recreation Department to create a rowing program at the site and use it for other public amenities. And that plan is still in its infancy. Details have not yet been presented to the public. A new exhibit at Old Quincy City Hall pays special tributes to the 7 generals who are honored at the new Generals Park and Bridge in Quincy Center. The Quincy Historical Society has curated this temporary exhibit. It features letters, memorabilia, and stories from the generals, and also from Quincy residents who served in the military from the Revolutionary War all the way to Vietnam, and stories from people back on the home front during wartime. The exhibit includes a display of portraits and artifacts from the Quincy Historical Society, as well as the United States Naval and Shipbuilding Museum on board the USS Salem at the Quincy Shipyard. A guest book is also provided for people to share their own stories of military service and experiences. That museum is open to the public weekdays from 8:30 to 4:30. That archaeological survey continues on the grounds of the Dorothy Quincy homestead here in Quincy to try and locate any remnants of the original Edmund Quincy house that was built there in 1635. The team recently unearthed several pieces of porcelain and ceramics at the site. Investigators from the Public Archaeological Laboratory are conducting the search for the Colonial Dames of Massachusetts, which operate that homestead for the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Now, the survey will conclude later today. Any artifacts that were uncovered will eventually be put on display for the public. Coming up, Kathy Brigette is here with information about the upcoming South Shore Women's Conference here in Quincy. That's next. Welcome back. The third annual South Shore Conference for Women is coming up later on this month at the Boston Marriott Hotel here in Quincy. We're so pleased to welcome the chairwoman of that event, Kathy Brigette, to tell us what it's all about and how you might be able to participate. Kathy, thanks for coming over.
Thanks, Joe. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
When I first got the information about the conference, I said, first of all, I've never heard of it. And this is the third annual, so I need to learn about it.
Right.
And second of all, women in particular over the past year and a half during this pandemic have been particularly impacted.
Right.
So I know that's a lot of what the focus of the conference is going to be. Matter of fact, the theme is reconnect, renew, and repurpose, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to learn about that.
Right.
First, tell us about yourself, if you could.
So my name is Kathy Brigette. I'm originally from Milton, grew up in Milton, and I live in Pembroke right now. And I am the co-founder of an online women's magazine called Herself 360.
Herself 360.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So the entire woman.
Yes,
right?
around
all
the whole
360
circle.
degrees. Okay.
The full circle. And so I joined the She's Local group 3 years ago when they first started the South Shore Conference.
Okay.
So, and this year I'm chairperson for the event.
What is She's Local?
So She's Local started in about 2017. Jen Maceda, Alex Carlton, and 5 other women decided that they really wanted to point out the women in the community. And so they started a conference in the Metro West area that was a little bit smaller than the bigger conferences here, the Massachusetts conference, which is gigantic and costs a lot of money to go to, and you have to pay a lot of money to park. They wanted to do it within the communities of the women. And it's amazing the way they have the whole thing set up. So what they do is a couple of months before the conference, they have meetings where women can come in and talk about, from the community, and talk about what they want to hear about and what they want to learn about and what's important to them. And then they find the women locally within the community that can speak to that, to what the women are looking for.
Okay.
And so the first one was in Metro West in 2017, and they sold out the first year. The second year, same thing, and there was a woman from the South Shore that had been to both of the conferences, Michelle Woodbury, and she begged Jen Maceda for them to come here on the South Shore because it's really hard for us to get into Boston or into those bigger areas to try and see all the things that we want to talk about and learn about. So in 2019, we had the first event here at the Marriott, and we sold out.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay.
There were so many amazing people. The lineup is local women, but it's local women who are really doing amazing things, yet flying under the radar that people aren't really aware of. So.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's to bring a highlight, I guess, to those women and their accomplishments.
It's to bring a highlight to
Yeah.
those women, but it's also to help the women within the community know those women are there.
Yes.
You know, to help them out.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that, women are concerned about in particular?
This year has been a the past
Yeah.
year, this year and the past year has been a very hard year for women. But we've, come through. We're finding new ways to do things that we weren't able to do before. A lot of it is entrepreneurship, women starting new businesses.
Okay.
There's health. There's 10 panels. So in each one of the 10 panels, there's 3 women that are chosen. So that's another part of the way it works out is they have registration where you can sign up to be a speaker.
Yep.
And then based on what everyone in the community has decided they want to talk about or hear about, they pick, so what did I say? We have 30 speakers. So we had about
Really?
100 people apply
Yeah.
to be speakers, and then out of those 100 they pick 30 that they think will go the best
Okay.
with the panels that they've chosen to speak about.
Okay. It's an all-day event, right?
It is. It starts in the morning. It
Yeah.
actually, the first event starts the night before.
Okay.
It's a cocktail hors d'oeuvre event for all the panelists and speakers to meet with each other.
Okay.
Which is really nice because then everybody gets to know each other and we all, everybody gets introduced to everyone. And it's a smaller group. So everybody's comfortable with working with everyone. And we have Christine Hurley, who's a comedian, will be there that night
Okay.
for that event.
All right. So a little icebreaker,
Yeah,
right?
a little
to get things
icebreaker
started.
to get everything going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a question as to whether or not you'd be able to actually do this event in person?
We have actually, so this year it's a hybrid model.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because we weren't sure
Right.
what was going to happen. Right up until this last couple of weeks,
Yep.
we were like, we might not be able to do this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but last year when we did it online, it was great too.
Okay.
People loved it online too. And this makes it with the hybrid model. This makes it able, people from everywhere to be able to visit it.
Exactly.
So if they're not on the South Shore, but maybe they're from the South Shore, but they're living somewhere else, they can still be involved with, the
Yeah,
whole conference.
it might be the wave of the future.
Yes.
These hybrid events, and
Hybrid
particularly
models,
events
yeah.
like this where you have presenters.
Yes.
Putting out information, and people are able to just kind of passively sit back and take what they need, right?
Right.
Yeah. How many folks do you think will attend in person?
We have 4. We're set up for 400
Wow,
right now,
okay.
and we're almost sold out.
Okay.
There's only like 100 or 75 tickets left for sale. So
Okay.
go get it.
Go get it right now. Yeah. So, what are the 30 topics, I guess, if you will, Kathy?
Well,
or
there are
what is-
10 topics
Oh, all
with
right.
3 women on each topic.
Oh, okay.
3 women, or a panel of 3 women
Okay.
talking about the topic. And they're entrepreneurship, communicating during this whole hybrid, online and in person, taking care of yourself. Let me see. Entrepreneurship, communications. There's like 2 communications, 2 entrepreneur, 2 well-being, and 2 self-care.
Okay.
I think that's 10 altogether.
Okay. Okay.
And there'll be panels that are speaking to all of those topics.
I'm guessing that childcare has been a huge issue for
Yes.
women over this past year and a half.
Yes.
Trying, number 1, to take care of their families, and then number 2, educate their children at
Right,
home.
at home.
Yeah.
All women
probably-
that aren't teachers.
And number 3, maybe work a full-time job,
Right.
possibly from home as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
is that going to be brought up during this conference?
Yes, all of that is going to be spoken to
Okay.
during the conference. I'm not so much sure about the daycare, but all the other things that you discussed.
Yeah, it's one of the main issues that
I know.
women haven't been able to return to the workforce in
Right.
some cases. There was a report you might have heard from the state senate just earlier this week about how the pandemic has particularly impacted women, and that was one of the major issues
Right.
was childcare
childcare.
and elder care too, if they have parents
Yes.
at home trying to do that as well. Yeah, you're nodding your head.
Yes, that
as
is
if
one of
you
the
know.
topics,
Yeah.
is the elder care. That was one of the topics of the last 2 years was elder care.
Is that right?
Because that was, it really gets harder and harder. I know myself, I'm going through it right now.
Okay, so,
So Yeah.
And still trying to juggle.
Still trying to juggle it. But I think with the childcare, it's more because there's so many families that have, people with existing disease, diseases and things like that.
Sure.
They're afraid to put their child in daycare. So.
Well, they've just authorized vaccines for even younger children.
I know, I saw
so
that. I'm very excited about
should
that.
offer some freedom for some parents.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you could kind of run down the agenda for that day. It's October 28th, 8:15 to 5 at the Marriott Hotel.
Yeah. So it starts in the morning, 8:30.
Okay, it says, okay.
Does it say 8?
It says 8:15.
8:15, okay, 8:15. Usually it's 8:30 because by the time we get everybody in there and sit down. So the first keynote speaker is at 8:15, and that is Joanna Dutra, who is a creative marketing woman from the South Shore. She has a creative marketing company, Design. And then after that, they will have the panels set up. And what will happen is, I think they have 5 panels set up in the morning, and you have a chance to go to 2 of those panels during the morning. And then the next keynote speaker is J.C. Monahan, who is a news broadcaster from Channel 10, and she will speak during lunch, so there'll be lunch, and then they will do the panels again. You'll be able to go to 2 of the 5 panels. They'll be recording those panels also so that people will be able to see them on Zoom.
Oh, very good.
The Zoom won't have all 10 panels because we just don't have the wherewithal to record all of that.
Yeah.
But you will be able to see 4 of the panels that we'll be going through.
Okay.
So it would have been the same as if you had been there.
Right.
You only can see 4 out of the 10 panels.
There's only so much time in the day, right?
There's only so much time in the day.
Okay.
And then after that, there's a cocktail hour again for people to just, congregate and talk to each other. And there's also set up, I don't know if you've ever been in the Marriott, but the room, there's a big long hallway in between all of the rooms. And so we have about 24 or 25 exhibitors that'll be set up that people can go to the exhibitors and purchase items or see what's there.
Women-owned businesses, I'm assuming?
All women-owned businesses, They also, I think Dove is going to be there.
Yes,
and the Better Business Bureau will be there. So there's those smaller type of companies that, Dove, they're a nonprofit, so they get to come in and we're excited about them coming in.
Yeah, they're having their own fundraiser coming up that weekend, actually.
Is it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then the sponsors really make it available for women to be there at the $52 price.
Yeah.
And so we have South Shore Hospital or South Shore Health is one of our big sponsors. Mass General Brigham and Women's is one of our big sponsors. Belvin, which is a woman-owned technology company. And then the Better Business Bureau is one of our sponsors too. And Northeastern Bank is one of the bigger sponsors.
Okay, to make it possible.
Yeah, to make it
affordable.
possible. But even the exhibit spaces are very affordable, for most women's small business.
Yeah, is there still opportunity for presenters, Kathy, or is that?
No, the presenters are all, so those are all taken care of. Like I said, we do the open meetings where people can decide what the panels are going to be, and then those 100 people, we have to pick them, and then those are the speakers. That's done. And then the keynote speakers have already been chosen too. So all of that is all taken care of months before. Right now, the panels are meeting to get to know each other and to discuss what they're going to be discussing during their presentations.
Who do you think would benefit from going to the conference?
I think every woman would benefit. If you're looking for a job, there's going to be lots of women there with businesses that may be looking for new employees. If you're looking to meet other women that might be doing the same thing as you and might be able to help you do more of what you're doing, that would be a great place. And then they're speaking to, like J.C. Monahan is going to speak to mental health, and so people that want to hear about things that are being done mental health wise because of all the things that have happened over the last couple of months.
Yes. Okay.
She'll be speaking to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What have you taken away from the conferences over the past couple of years? How have they helped you?
Well, because of Herself 360, we're always looking for women to write stories to help other women in any place that they may be, or help the person who's writing the story with a problem that they might be having. So I have met some amazing women, like just the hundreds of amazing women, and I've brought all of them in to the magazine to be able to write their stories if they want to share it with other women. I've also met great networking partners, people that have helped me. Michelle Woodbury, who is from Two Sisters Living, which is a senior advisory living company, and she's actually helping me with my mom right now.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's just so many people, and it's all women-owned businesses, and it feels so much better, you know, using the local people that you know and trust. With anything that you might have to do.
So you mentioned there were larger conferences. I wasn't aware that.
Oh, well, there's a conference in Massachusetts called the Massachusetts Women's Conference.
Oh, there is.
It's at the BCEC in Boston.
Okay.
It usually goes for 2 or 3 days, and the tickets are about $1,000.
Yeah, so it's not affordable for a lot of.
No, and it's in Boston.
Yeah.
You know, it's and then the parking is even more
just
money.
logistically, yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
So these local, She's Local has actually started, so Metro West, then they started South Shore. Now they're doing Merrimack Valley, and there's some other one too. I'm not sure where it is, but in the smaller communities where women really want to, you know, meet and learn from other women in their community.
Sure.
And they're able to do that with these smaller conferences.
Yeah. Are you utilizing social media at all, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a board of directors for each one of the conferences, and I probably have 20 people on my board of directors.
Wow.
And so those are broken up into committees during the whole year when we're creating the whole event. And we have a communication committee, we have an inclusion committee, we have a speaker committee, and all of those committees, it's their job to really get the word out to all the places that we try to get the word out to. So this year with the inclusion committee, we tried to go, you know, we're trying to find LGBTQ, we're trying to find women of color, we're trying and putting all of that information out there so that everyone can see and be able to be part of the event.
Yes. Okay. So you really are trying to make it all inclusive,
all inclusive,
and empowering. It sounds like, right?
Yes.
Empowering these women.
That's a good word.
to grow either themselves or their business or both.
Or their business
right?
or both. Yes.
You're an example of that. You're a magazine publisher.
Yes.
Digital, right?
Right.
How did that happen?
So my daughter and I, my oldest daughter Jennifer and I, did the Women's March on Washington in 2017.
Okay.
We took a bus to Washington.
Did you really?
Yes,
wow.
we did. And it was phenomenal. Like, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever done. The feeling while you were there was a feeling of camaraderie. Like, everybody was just so nice to everybody. It was just really great. And we heard some amazing stories while we were there, like all the women, why they went, what they were doing there. And so I thought, you know, I really want to do something that shares women's stories. Like, there's so many women out there that have amazing stories that other people would so be able to take something from them. And so I started talking to a couple of people about it. And at the time, I was working for a technology company that was sold in October of 2017. So I didn't have a job anymore.
Right.
And so I thought, here's my big
Window
chance.
opens.
Window
Door
open. Yeah,
Door's closed.
Yep,
yeah.
door closes,
Okay.
another one opens. And so we started it in 2017, and we just put our 46th issue out.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so
wow.
we have over 1,000 stories on the website
Wow.
that women have shared.
And that's the interesting part. It's really kind of an open platform, right?
Yes.
It's not you editing it.
Well, it is me edit. So I create the pages.
Okay.
People send me the stories,
Yes.
and then I create the pages on the website.
Okay.
So it's not open so that anybody can put any
Gotcha.
story up there.
Okay.
So every month, we have a media calendar. Every
Yep.
month we try to go around, what's going on during that month. Like
Yes.
October is Breast
Breast
Cancer
Cancer Awareness Month, sure, yeah, sure.
Right, and so we've had stories of women who have gone through that and written the story and told how they came out the other side
Okay,
and a
okay.
better person, or
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you curate those
Yes.
and learn from them at the same time, I'm
yes,
sure.
Yes, and I love talking to them. That's my favorite thing to do is
Yeah.
to talk to all these people.
Good for
Yeah.
you, good for you. Anything else we should let folks know about right now, about the conference?
It's October 28th.
Yep.
It is at the Quincy Marriott. The tickets are $52.
And they're going fast.
And they're going fast.
Okay.
You can get your ticket at sheslocal.org
Okay,
and click on Social Conference.
okay.
And that's how you do it.
Thanks for coming over, Kathy.
Well, thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Hope it helps get the word out for you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Kind of what you see is what you get out there. Lots of sunshine and comfortable temperatures up in the upper 60s, near 70 later on today. Nice night tonight, just a few clouds, upper 50s. Really not a bad holiday weekend coming up. Kind of gray tomorrow. A little cooler into the lower 60s. Just a spot shower possible on Sunday. And right now, Columbus Day looks okay. Maybe just a shower around, but otherwise partly sunny and in the low 70s. Thanks again to Kathy Brigette for joining us today from the South Shore Conference for Women.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you to our crew, and thank you for watching. We're off, by the way, on Monday for Columbus Day. Join us here next Friday. Quincy College President Dr. DeCristofaro will be here. And don't forget, visit our website, please. Go to qatv.org anytime. You'll find all of our latest programs there. There's news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and a whole lot more. For all of us here at Quincy Access Television, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.